Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I am your host, Kenshiro, avid comic book junkie and anime junkie. On today's episode of Culture Junkies Live, what happened to the G rating? Like, if you guys haven't noticed, but the G-rated films have all but become extinct with regard to movie picture releases, obviously with the rise of streaming, Disney Plus, and all this other kind of stuff, HBO Max, or Max as it's called now. So we're going to get into that. What are the reasons why the G rating has all but disappeared from the lexicon of the movie going experience? Joining me in studio, as always, are my very good friends, the great Adakuji and GQ. What's up, guys?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing this fine evening? You know, I forgot to do something, but you guys probably don't even notice it. Oh, my gosh. There you go.
You so dumb.
Vertical camera's living
So,
you right
so dumb. Yeah, so dumb.
I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in.
That's a great one-liner from Nick Fury. From remote, we've got Fallen Marvel in the house.
What is up, ladies and gentle nerds? Back in the building with my boys, the junkies, and we are going to dive into this little mystery.
Yes, we are. Put on your detective hats. We'll get it going. And manning the controls for us today is Simon Says. I'm going to thank him for all of his hard work back there, kind of, keeping the camera focused on all of us out there. If this is your first time joining us on Culture Junkies Live, thank you for choosing to spend your evening with us for the first 45 minutes of the show. We will be talking our various show topics. Obviously, today is the G rating mystery. We might get into a few other things, but the last 15 minutes is dedicated to you, the people, and the power is yours segment, where we talk about anything under the sun. We talk about sports. We can talk about, well, we don't prefer not to talk about politics, but we talk about wrestling. We talk about anime. We can talk about what you guys did in your personal lives over the 4th. Whatever. We'll talk about it then. Let me run down how the show works. So over on my right shoulder, we have our follower goal, where for the month of January or July, if we fill up that goal, you'll trigger a giveaway from GQ's giveaway chest. Although we got a lot of goodies, including Blu-rays, comic books. Got some. I think we got some collectibles over there as well.
PS5 games in there.
There's what?
PS5 games.
PS5 games have been added to the list, so you don't want to. That's a little extra incentive to fill the meter. Over here on my left shoulder is our extra life meter. That power is yours segment. It's 15 minutes. You can extend it by filling the powers extending the extra life meter and filling it up with your bits as we go along the show. We do a really good job. Anytime you want to reward us with bits, we'll reward you with an extra 15 minutes, and that goal can be triggered twice. All right, guys, let's hit the show running, and by running the gamut. So, first and foremost, the producer of John Wick. Everybody in this room has seen John Wick, and I think most of you people out there in TV land have seen John Wick 4 as well, if you're so inclined. Well, there's been a bit of ambiguity about how that show ended, and that was by design. Keanu Reeves and the director kind of wanted to have that ambiguity. They filmed a couple of endings, and the alternate ending showed that John Wick is indeed alive. Spoiler alert for those of you out there that haven't seen it yet. But John Wick indeed is alive, and that's where all the rumors of them making a John Wick 5 have come from. They're planning on expanding the John Wick universe because they know they have a hit on their hands, and they don't want to have the sacred goose, the golden goose, die too soon. What do you guys think about that? About all this stuff?
Well, I enjoy John Wick, and I like the unrealism that is put forth. It's like watching a video game, and it's just fun to see an invincible. Well, I guess you're not really too invincible, but if you think about it, like video game characters do get hit, but they don't die necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. I enjoy it, and I will definitely be there for more.
I mean, I enjoyed the film franchise. John has had a tough couple of weeks there, because basically that's what the extent of how that story takes place is a couple of weeks. No, the movie itself is great. Keanu does an outstanding job. I like the fact that he and his co-stars take the action seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's directed. Originally was co-directed by 2 stuntmen, one of whom was a stand-in for Keanu for The Matrix. So that's why the action is so on point. To one point, a lot of people said that overhead sequence, which was done as a one-shot, that's not new. in the sense of Walking Tall actually had an overhead sequence like that, but it wasn't a one shot. It was just, a long extended sequence. Of course, John Wick was done as a one shot, which that's insane. The coordination just to get all of that right, the effects, everything. That's hats off to that for sure. So yeah, John Wick is awesome. I'm looking forward to more. Bring on 5.
Paul, your quick take.
Much echo the same sentiments, GQ and Dido. It's an entertaining, crazy, like it's over the top, but still managed to kind of be boots on the ground, and that's really rare to do. So I mean, between him and of course, it's not really boots on the ground, but it is. But of course, still got the upcoming Mission Impossible coming, and that's supposed to be like amazing. But as far as this franchise goes, whatever, like I'm looking forward to it. I say bring on more. I think it's revitalized like rated R action cinema in a way, because like we haven't had a lot of really good ones, and I think like the only last one we had before that was the Expendables, and now they're finally doing a fourth one after several years. So I mean, yeah, definitely bring on more. Like John Wick has been hitting it out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
100%. I have to, echo the sentiments of all of my fellow panelists here. John Wick series has been absolutely excellent. I'm looking forward to the Continental. I heard there's supposed to be a spinoff like the Ballerina, starring, my new young crush. Damn, I forgot her name that quick. She can't be that much of a crush if I forgot her name,
then.
right?
What has she been in?
Oh, she was in Knives Out and James Bond, the last Craig one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Marilyn, and she was in that Marilyn movie or whatever it was called too.
Yeah. You were talking about Ana de Armas.
Ana de Armas, yes. Very much looking forward to that. Like I'll watch her in almost anything.
It'd be
she's
cool.
Damn
to
good
see her.
actress.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see her play that part.
Right.
I almost wish the Continental wasn't set at the time that it's set in, but I get it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you can't set it too close to the time of John Wick movies, but wouldn't have minded it being set when he was a little bit older. We'll see.
Yeah. So I want to say what's up to Preem in the chat. I want to say what's up to Wolverine Solid X, and also Razor Black 23, who admitted a cardinal sin. He has not seen the 4th John Wick yet.
They got it on Blu-ray. They got it on digital.
Yes, man. You have no excuses.
Right. Either get to the store or get to the streaming.
Get on it. All right.
Great. The movie.
Yep. Right. All right. Moving on right along. Another bit of news today. We got would he technically be considered the first DLC character trailer that we've gotten for Street Fighter 6? Rashid came out today, which I mean, I didn't know Rashid was really that popular.
Oh yeah.
Apparently he's way more popular than I thought he was going to be. The trailer really wasn't like super like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever. It was okay. But Street Fighter 6 is a great game. It really is. So what do you think the addition of Rashid is going to bring to the table, and who else might follow him? Like Rainbow Mika or Armika? No Laura? Like where's Laura at? Like come on, huh?
I don't know. Go ahead, follow.
We only got 4, and unfortunately, like that is going to be spanning all the way until the end of next year. So,
wait a minute, what?
Yeah, that fighter pass, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically spanning all the way until winter next year. So,
Jesus,
so
man.
far it's only going to be him, Akuma, Ed, and
Aki, AKI, or whatever her name is.
Okay, yeah. So it's only going to be those 4 characters, and we got Rashid for the summer. I forget who's coming later this year. It might be Akuma, but I'm not sure. And then the other 2 characters of the following year.
Yeah.
Wow, they're
spreading it out a little bit too far.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like until the end of next year. Like if you said next summer, okay. But the end of next year? Yeah, that's
the only way that they'll be able to maintain something like that with that much of a spread is each character better add extra stuff to World Tour.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Because if they don't at least do that,
Mhm.
then because it's like I'm gonna be honest, I finished World Tour already. You can still do stuff in it, but I found all the legendary fighters. I killed them all. I've done the entire story. Now I haven't leveled up my character for everybody's style yet,
Mhm.
but that's at that point you're just grinding. You know,
Mhm.
it's I've done everything that you can technically do story wise in World Tour. So it's
Right.
like it's been a month. Y'all, if y'all are talking about bringing out new characters, every single one of them better add a couple of chapters to World Tour, and give you some other stuff to do because again, it's a world tour.
Sure.
Add more countries, add more missions, add more legendary fighters that you got to beat because I've defeated Shenlong. So
Yeah. All right. So, last bit of news. So, this past weekend, for anime fans, this is kind of like the Mecca. The Anime Expo was this past weekend. A lot of announcements, a lot of new stuff was announced. We have a Street Fighter 6 Cross Spy Family crossover that we're getting ready to have, where it's going to be Chun-Li versus Yor Forger. That's going to be pretty cool. But one thing that was announced is a little bit of surprise to some anime fans. Obviously, the latest Gundam series, Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch of Mercury, ended this past weekend, had its last episode. But announced at Anime Expo was the return of Gundam SEED. Gundam SEED, yes, Gundam SEED Freedom is a new movie that is getting done for theater release, and it should be released some point next year. So for a lot of people, I know Gundam SEED has been somewhat controversial for some people. For me, it was one of the better Gundam series, especially if you need an introduction to Gundam. That one almost like was the perfect sweet spot, because much like Gundam Wing did for the previous generation, introducing Gundam to certain audiences over here, Gundam SEED kind of did the same thing like 10 to 15 years later.
are you saying Gundam SEED? Like
Gundam SEED, like a seed. Yeah, like a seed. Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
whatever.
peach seed. So
Look
forward to that.
Gundam is an old, statesman. So elder statesman anime. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah.
That sentiment. Following Gundam as long as I have, like, because Wing was my introduction, and watching Seed, like, it really was like a really solid entry to where if that is a good entry point if you're not that with the series. So
Right.
fortunately I kind of fell off from a little bit or whatever like since then, because I caught a couple since then. But yeah, I definitely echo that though. Like I got to get back into my Gundam stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's been a really long while.
Yeah. No, and like I said, The Witch from Mercury just ended. The series had its moments. I don't think it was that great, but I don't think it was the worst Gundam series I've seen. So I enjoyed it a lot. In other news for coming out of Anime Expo, we're also going to have a anime episode in a couple of weeks with a couple of guests in the studio. But quick tidbits. This one's for you, Dido. Crunchyroll has added the One Piece dub, like all 967 episodes of the dub that were available, I think, in other places. They're now going to be on Crunchyroll. And also at Anime Expo,
Are they gonna break it up into seasons, or are they just gonna just
900 some odd episodes
literally
done,
they're just dumping the whole thing.
I don't give a care because Crunchyroll is there. I just want the
subs.
Japanese subs.
He just wants
and on top of that, I just found out, and I don't know if it's for all of them, but I think it is because they confirmed that the Japanese voice actress for Luffy will be doing the Japanese dub for the live
One
action.
Piece, yeah, for the One
And
Piece
that's
live
cool,
action.
but here's
Yeah, so I'll just watch it.
okay. Preem brought up something real quick, but here's what I got to say about that. If that thing, that cube, ever loses your spot when you watch it, that'd be the most horrific thing ever. You know, like you could just, next episode, next episode, next.
Yeah.
Imagine if that bad boy just was like, you know what?
I lost my spot.
I lost my spot.
Or
Man,
say you fell asleep and it's like dozens of episodes later. Shit. Now I gotta go back.
I just think that'd be hilarious.
So no, I remember last week I was teasing that Wit Studio was doing a DC anime project. Well, they actually announced that at Anime Expo.
Okay.
It is a Suicide Squad isekai anime where literally it's the Suicide Squad, but they only really showed, they showed Killer Croc and they mostly showed Harley and the Joker. But literally, the premise is the Suicide Squad get isekai to another world
So
and have to, I guess, survive or something like that. It looks crazy. The Joker looks like it is going to be patterned after the Leto Joker, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But the first DC actual anime, is coming out, and also tonight at midnight, the first 2 episodes of My Adventures with Superman on Adult Swim tonight. Actually, that looks really good. I'm looking forward to checking that out.
Are we forgetting Gotham Knights and Batman Ninja?
We
What, as
don't.
far as anime?
Well,
DC
Gotham
anime?
Knights was more like a compilation and wasn't strictly just anime, so I don't fully count that. But Batman Ninja, we don't acknowledge that over here.
Batman Ninja was bad. Dude.
Yeah, we don't acknowledge that.
never watched it.
Yeah, we don't acknowledge that.
nothing. I'm gonna be straight up. Like, I was excited about the idea of that when they were saying, "Oh man, you sit back to feudal Japan, it's anime take on Batman," and they just lost their damn minds. They could not help themselves. I'm like,
it was terrible.
I'm like, dude,
it was terrible.
Y'all, if y'all would have just let it be Batman in feudal Japan and let it just be straight up that, I would have been like, all right, cool.
No,
they had to animeize it. I know the art. Some of the art was excellent, but they just decided, like, you know what, we're gonna go full blown anime. I'm like, God dang it!
All the tropes and everything.
Like,
yeah.
Went Tokusatsu.
Yeah, they went all over. I'm like, God, dang it!
I'm like, what is happening?
I just wish Madhouse. I wish Madhouse would have did that straight up, just Madhouse and let them do it, Ninja Scroll style.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Bad.
Nope,
it was bad. All right, guys, that's more than enough news and tidbits. I think we'll take a quick break for our Patreon rolling, and we'll be right back to talk about the main topic. Be back in a few minutes. Few seconds, really.
The entire Culture Junkies crew would like to thank you for tuning into our programming. We hope you are enjoying our content as much as we enjoy making it. One thing that helps us continue bringing you our unique content is viewer support. By visiting the Culture Junkies Patreon page, you will have the opportunity to select the support level that works best for you. Not only will your support help keep the Culture Junkie Nation growing, but you will make yourself eligible to receive patron-exclusive swag. Please take a moment to consider supporting us and join the ranks of the supporters you see listed on the screen. We would like to also give a special shout out to our Culture Junkies level and above patrons: DeMarcus Smith, Fab Nerd Life, NanetteNet, The Other Steve, and Black Crowned Knight. Remember, for as little as $1 a month, you can support a Culture Junkie. Thank you.
All right, guys. We want to say thanks again to all of our patrons and supporters. We really do this show mostly for you, and you help fuel our passions and keep us going. And if you want to join, just do us a favor, head on over to patreon.com/culturejunkies and do a sign up. All right, guys. So let's talk about the G rating and its disappearance from the lexicon of movies. So we did a little bit of research. We all grew up with G movies when we were younger. Growing up in the 80s, there was G movies everywhere, from the Chipmunk Adventure to The Land Before Time. Actually, wait, Land Before Time I think might have been PG. I could be wrong about that. But we had Bambi, we've had Snow White, we've had Aladdin, we had Little Mermaid, we had all these G movies that basically all the kids would end up going to, their parents take their kids to the movies to see. Now, some of us have grown up and had kids. Me, fallen. My kids have aged out of that era. They're all grown now, so they're PG-13 or R rating and above. Well, I shouldn't say above. They're not checking out X-rated movies or anything like that I know of. That I know of anyway. But essentially, the G-rated movie has disappeared. Like the last G-rated movie that was released in movie theaters was Cars 3. And that was back in 2017. So it's been almost 7 years. 7 years since the last G movie came out in theaters. And it was a Pixar-rated movie. Since then, numerous G-rated movies have come out. And, numerous PG-rated movies come out, animated features and everything. None of them have had G ratings. And there's numerous reasons for that. So we're going to talk about that and why that is the case, and, PG being the new G. So let's talk about it, guys. Why has the G rating disappeared?
Go ahead, Dido.
it disappeared because it has to probably have to do with money. It probably has to do with attention spans. Probably has to do with a lot of stuff. According to what we read on the internet, that the definition of general audience is kind of changed, and a lot of stuff that they used to put into what we consider G-rated movies were probably not for general audiences. Maybe some of those hidden things that Disney kept putting in there, like what was the kitty take off your clothes type thing or whatever.
Oh, that was in Aladdin, yeah.
Yeah.
Aladdin was all good teenagers take off your clothes.
Yeah, something like that.
Lion
I mean, there's
King
apparently
was,
a lot of stuff that may have gone through, and that could be it. I don't know. I mean, most of the stuff, to me, it just feels like they could have probably kept it G because like parents are there. And though, a kid is sitting there watching it, most of the time they're not watching for the dialogue. They're not paying attention to that. The context goes right over their head. So it's probably just a money thing.
Well, yeah, I think they said that many motion picture studios have elected to go for a broader audience because when you market things to G-rated films, the connotation is that they're made for children or younger children. And most teenagers won't go and see them. And the only adults you're really going to get are parents or kids that, are parents that have young children. And you kind of really cut off your box office earnings. You're pretty much dead in the water after the first week. So they elect to make it PG and appeal to a broader audience where they can get a little bit of a bigger piece of the pie. What do you say to that, GQ?
Yeah, it's definitely for theaters for sure. I mean, are you going to lock off an entire theater or two for a G-rated movie and get maybe like 5-6 people in the movie, and that's about it? Or are you gonna open that theater, especially obviously now with digital distribution for films? Back when they were sending out canisters of actual film, then you didn't have any choice,
right?
But now it's like hey, John Wick 4, we can get another screening of John Wick 4, or we can run I don't know, Cars 5 or whatever in this theater. Maybe that John Wick 4 might fill up a small theater, but that Cars is not going to. So I mean, I get it from that aspect. But from a content creation, and I think streaming has really had a big effect on this. Yeah, I mean it's it's almost cheaper to just let the parents watch it at home, especially when we were in the pandemic, where like some films were being released, quote unquote, theater and home on the same day. That didn't last very long, but they did try that, and I couldn't imagine a G-rated film being needed to be put in the theater if your entire audience is really just little kids at home that are, the parents are gonna throw it on, and that'll be their baby,
their entertainment, right?
Yeah, or an hour and a half or whatever it is. But yeah, I always thought it was just interesting. Like granted, all of us are out of the age range of really going to G-rated films or necessarily needing to see them. You even from a kid standpoint or a niece and nephew standpoint,
right?
But yeah, it's odd to. It was just funny when we first brought up the topic. It was like, dang, they really haven't had any G-rated movies in like a really long time. And for us to look it up and be like, yeah, Cars 3 was the last one that was. It's like, wow, didn't even realize it was gone that long. So.
Vaughn, what's your take on the disappearance of G-rated films?
To echo the sentiments, it definitely, what Dido said, it definitely seems to come down to a money issue. Because looking back at the releases for G-rated movies, like I was looking at some of the lineup leading up to Cars 3, and there were definitely a lot of far in between when it comes to G-rated stuff. And I think like the landscape for it, like with the G, is it's mostly dedicated for usually educational purposes, because that's when you usually see a lot of animal documentaries and National Geographic type of stuff, and that kind of stuff. So I think with that, and it's kind of odd because like depending on what you're watching, it kind of teeter-totters between G and PG. Like Finding Nemo was rated G, but watching on TV, it's TV PG and all that, so whatever. So it's like, I don't know. So it's kind of weird. But upon looking at some of the movies that came out, And I didn't know about this one particular release because this is another thing. Because this is something that they market to children, obviously one of the main things they're going to want to do is they want to market toys.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And that is an easy market to get into, but at the same time, you kind of alienate everybody else that's not a child because typically G-rated stuff is literally child specific. There's nothing for the adults typically.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
in I think this is 2012, there was an attempt to try to cash in on that to try to be the next big thing for kids. And it was, I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of this, but there was a movie that they called The Oogly Loves in the Big Balloon Adventure.
I have no idea.
Can't say that I've heard that one
No.
before.
Avengers came out that year. Sorry.
Yes.
And the thing is, like, it was they put money into this.
Mhm.
And they were using, like, they were using quite a few people to try to push it. Tony Braxton was in it, Carrie Elwes was in it, Christopher Lloyd was in it, and quite a few like notable people was in this to try to push this movie. They dropped 20 million into that movie.
Okay.
It only made one.
Damn.
Okay. Okay.
Here's the
And
thing.
G-rated movies has been very slim picking since then.
I believe it, but here's the
yeah, I
funny
can
thing
believe that.
about that. Obviously, like I said, it came out in the worst possible year for something like that. Avengers was already dropping that year, and I think
But even still, it was just
Avengers cast a very big shadow. But let's be real. If they dropped 20, I don't know what they paid all those various actors, but I guarantee you they didn't spend nothing on marketing because none of us had heard of that movie until you just said it.
Right.
So
Right.
legitimate, and again, we was all in the theater, especially when the lead up to the Marvel stuff and all that. We was all in the theater constantly.
Oh yeah.
I saw not one trailer for that movie,
Mm-mm.
and I know I
Oogly
did.
Booglies and whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah, like I would have remembered something that weird sounded. I'd be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's almost like Blood and Chocolate again.
I came across it like within the last year because some people that I follow was like going over it or whatever.
Wow.
And I was like thinking, like, did this 20? I've never heard of this. But apparently it was something that they were trying to do. I don't know if they just marketed it to like little kids and hoping they'd come in. And it's one of those things where, like, kid sees it, kids will be like, ooh, mommy, daddy, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if they were just banking on that.
They ain't gonna
Whatever
be able
the
to
case
remember
may
that
be, it didn't
title.
work.
Yeah. They
Whatever
can't even
the ca-
remember the
whatever
title. Exactly.
Whatever the case may be, it didn't work. The funny thing about this is this was supposed to be like one of those it was supposed to be like those crowd participation type movies.
Oh god, it sounds like a concept.
It was, but it's a concept that didn't work.
I want to know who got
And it
fired
was
over that.
bad.
I want to know who got fired. Hold on,
Oh,
which production company? Not production. Which studio was going to put that out?
It wasn't a known one though,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's if I remember correctly, that's what it was. It was the guy or somebody. It was one of the people that supposedly had a hand in creating the Teletubbies,
Oh,
and they
God.
were trying to recreate
Oh,
that.
God.
Is what it was.
Oh, okay. They were basically trying to hit strike lightning in a bottle
Yeah,
twice.
man,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right.
I knew it was like an important tidbit I was leaving out. That
Okay.
was it.
Out of, wait, real quick out of the chat. So Head of Omega said that Secret of Nim would have been rated R. Looking at that movie was a little bit
PG-13.
That movie,
maybe?
yeah, that movie probably got a hit PG-13. That movie
Yeah.
was not. I
movie
remember
was
going
dark,
to see that.
bro.
I'm like, that movie was dark as hell.
Yeah, that movie
I'm
was
like,
dark.
good God. And then there was some nightmare fuel in that one.
Yeah.
And then Premier brought up, he said he thinks PG sounds less kiddie than G, and thereby makes it more appealing to all audiences.
Well, again, yeah, that saying something has parental guidance. Honestly, when we were kids, we wanted to see the G movies, but we really wanted to see the PG because we knew seeing PG-13 or R, you ain't gonna ask your parent, be like, oh, hey.
Well, no.
So
Here's
they're not
the
gonna
thing.
take us to
Don't
see
forget, when we were kids, PG-13 didn't exist yet.
That's true.
It was.
That's true.
It was made later.
That's true.
After Temple of Doom, Red Dawn, I think, if I remember right, was the first.
Was the first one?
PG-13 movie. Gremlins and Temple of Doom really got them thinking about it.
Push
like,
that
we need
envelope.
something in between.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, those movies. We had a long time there where PG was the rating. Because don't forget, Big Trouble in Little China, all the Star Wars movies up until you got to Revenge of the Sith.
That's true.
Almost every movie was PG. Most of them. The G stuff was, like Dido said, most of the Disney stuff, your Bambis, your Fox and the Hound, stuff like that. That was G, you know. But yeah, PG was pretty much the main thing until PG-13 became a thing. And
So-
like, you know, go ahead.
And well, I was gonna say, in today's day and age, when we have 13 billion different streaming services that all serve, you know, various forms of entertainment, most of them having, you know, age appropriate content, like Disney Plus has all of the Disney stuff, pretty much all the Pixar stuff. And I was making a note of this, you know, we were doing show prep earlier, that I think when the pandemic hit, and previously before the pandemic, parents would take their kids to the theaters to see some the things like Turning Red. Turning Red came out during the pandemic and went straight to streaming. I think they started to teach some of those parents, hey, save yourself some money, save yourself some headache, sit your kids down, get a subscription to this service, turn it on, and basically let it do what it do. You know, and I think that has replaced a night out at the movies, because it costs way too much to go to the movie theaters right now, for especially if you've got more than one kid. Imagine if you got two kids, you got to get them some popcorn, maybe share popcorn, share a drink, and maybe some candy. Even that is going to run you at least $20 or $30. Not even counting the tickets. That's just for the concessions. So for parents with a, you know, tight budget, they'd rather save themselves the hassle of them kids possibly behaving badly in public, because you know damn well they will. How many times we done been to Endgame or Infinity War, we had to hear a screaming child, you know, in the theater, ruining our experience because some parent couldn't. It was Lord of the Rings for you, dude. Dude, listen.
Oh no, my
Listen.
Endgame and Infinity War theater, they were packed, but there were no young kids to be seen.
Man, yes. I want to say maybe it was the second time, but I went and saw it during the day. So it was like around the time the kids would still be up, and some of those, and of course, I hate being like this, but more the urban theaters. When you can't get no damn babysitter, they're like, I gotta see this film, so they're gonna bring their kid.
Again,
and
why
Lord
do
of the
you
Rings,
think?
dude, and it wasn't in urban, it was suburban. We went to go see Lord of the Rings
Mm-hmm.
at the same theater all 3 years when it came out, and I think the same parents brought their kids.
Probably.
They were all midnight
Every
shows.
single time.
Probably
Every
All
single
midnight
time.
shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the thing is, it's like, and again, that's why, like I said, being a theater snob, that's why I went to, you know, I like doing
The high-end theaters.
Super EMAX.
Yeah.
Because it's price prohibitive for most families.
Yes.
It's
That part is true.
It's not stupid expensive,
But it's
but it's
expensive enough that
expensive
they gonna,
enough
yeah.
to the point of, like, if you got a, you know, mom, dad, and 2 kids,
Mm-hmm.
you are not getting any ticket price alone. You're not getting out of there for like less than
$100,
$50, maybe 100, depending.
Imagine is fairly reasonable.
Oh no, they
So it's
absolutely
like-
are.
So it's definitely doable, but I definitely get what you're saying, because again, if you're taking your family, like, you're not trying to buy a premium ticket for everybody.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
like-
Midnight shows, or like, for example, their newest thing is you can't even use passes on new movies. Like you can't, you know, like you can't use like your, you know, your free tickets that you accumulate to get discount. None of that. So it legitimately turns into a thing of, you better pick your spots, you know, and that's why I don't, for a lot of those, unless it's like during the week and now, you know, and the school is in, I'll hit a matinee for some of them. But like all the Marvel stuff, I hit that stuff, you know, we try to hit those like either the midnight show or the Thursday show or whatever, but I always see those in the biggest possible screen, because I know
Mm-hmm.
most people ain't trying to pay that much if they got more than one person or 2 people they got to pay for.
Right.
It's very strategic.
Yep. Out of the chat. So we got Hannah Mega saying there should be a balcony box for parents with babies, like sports stars at the Super Bowl.
He said a balcony box.
A balcony box with babies, what? So they can throw their kid off the balcony? Like, come on now, no
Hey.
way.
Yep.
Oh
absolutely.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, hold on. So Sam Taro says, see, this is why drive-ins are better and also cheaper.
Yeah,
That's
drive-ins are
true.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know they changed the pricing of going to the drive-in. Remember how it used to be per person in the car?
Yeah.
Now it's literally just one
Per car.
one car.
Yeah.
Because man, let me tell you, I told y'all the story
Yeah.
of when my kids was younger, right?
Yeah.
So I told y'all the story. So because this was per seat, I had my ex that I had my baby mom, and I had my 3 kids. 3 of them got in the trunk.
Wow.
3 of them got in the trunk.
Come on, man.
And one child
Come on,
was in the seat
man.
next to me, and I said, "I'm taking them to drive-in." When we got in, popped that trunk, and they all crawled out.
Here's the worst part.
It's the
part.
truth.
I already know exactly because you're talking about Ford, Wyoming, correct?
Yes,
Here's the funniest thing about that theater, and I don't know why they've never noticed this. Ford, Wyoming has a main entrance, you know, the marquee
Yeah.
and all that, right?
Yeah, in the back
Right
end.
across the street from that gas station where everybody
Yeah.
stops and gets their snacks, brings them across the
They got
street.
hamburgers at that gas station now.
Exactly,
Good-ass
because they
hamburgers.
know. The funny thing is, if you go just down the road about a half a block,
Mhm.
the quote unquote exit
Exit.
is right there.
Yep.
If you drive in with no headlights on, all you got to do is just find
Driving
your
backwards.
spot.
That's right. That's
It's,
right.
it's
Find you a spot.
hilarious. It's like, how did y'all
Yes.
not know
Yes,
that this is the perfect? Because the path leads right into the middle of all the screens.
it totally
so
does.
you just drive in and just kind of peek your head around,
Uh-huh.
like, okay, tune the radio in, you good.
Yep.
I'm like, this is stupid. How did y'all not know this? And it's
Poor
still
planning.
to this day is still open like that.
So
I'm
you
like,
know
this
what?
is hilarious.
You know what? That would be okay. How would you address that? I know we're getting off on a tangent. How
Mhm.
would you combat that? Would you put a gate? Or just
Yes.
one way in, one way
one
out?
way in, one way out.
There you go. Yeah, one way in,
I'm
one way out.
sorry. It's like a drive-in is a big parking lot basically
Yes.
with
Yeah.
with screens.
Yep.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Again,
It was poor planning.
it's hilarious that that's still a weakness at that place because that's the only drive-in in town.
It was
at
back
least
in the
for
day
us.
when people were more.
Don't you dare say
more-
honest because you
I was just about to
you talking
say.
about putting people in the trunk.
No.
So
I'm talking
about
like we're
honesty.
talking like when Fort Wyoming was created back in the 50s or 60s. People were more
Yeah,
honest.
whatever. People were
then.
still sneaking. I guarantee
Hell
you.
yeah, people
People
were
was cheap as hell back in the 50s now. Come on now. Don't act, come on.
I'm just
Come on.
saying. I'm just saying.
They have better cars than we do nowadays, but they
yeah.
was cheaper. They was a hell of a lot
okay.
cheaper than we are now.
All right, no, you got a point. All right,
Real quick to address
Eyes chat.
something that Han said, in the balcony box should be soundproof. You can't do that. They will screw up all of the acoustics of the theater.
what?
He's trying to say
Is
that
he, is he living in the real world? Like, come on, man. What? No way.
You know, I
No
get
way.
it. I understand where he's coming from, but you know,
I don't. I don't know. I don't know about that.
We don't. Nobody likes a crying baby at a theater
No, nobody
at all. Because
Nobody.
when I went to go see God, what was it? Was it Transformers?
Rise of the Beast.
No. When I went to go see Indy.
Oh,
Go see
okay.
Indiana Jones. There
Uh-huh.
was a crying baby in the theater. I was like, woman, if you don't take your child out the theater right now. Thankfully, they started crying during the preview.
Right.
But I was like,
Listen.
if she's still crying during this movie,
We're gonna have
I'm
issues.
gonna have to call the manager on you.
No, I get you.
Something. Big King to King
King to
checking
King
in.
is
What's up,
here.
man? Oh, defecate.
King Takeem is here.
Is here.
Right.
But I was gonna say, sad thing about Indy 5 is that it didn't seem to perform very well. And when I went to see it yesterday, seemingly was mostly older people when I saw it.
Indy's
So-
a callback. Is a callback movie, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I enjoyed the damn movie. I don't care what nobody say. It wasn't like the best movie because I mean, come on, Indiana
Mhm.
Jones and the Last
Yeah.
Crusade was the best movie.
Well,
out of all
100%,
of
yes.
those.
Still,
But the movie was fun.
no,
It was
good.
enjoyable. The story they was telling was a standard Indiana Jones like story. So I'm like,
Mhm.
dude, I'm good. He's 80. I
Mhm.
don't expect him to do the stuff
All
he
the
did 40
stunts.
years ago.
Yeah,
Come on now.
it was still good. No, it was still
He
good.
should be doing all those stunts. You're gonna be an actor. You might as well do everything.
No. All right, so we're getting ready to wrap up this topic. But do any so out of the chat, do youngsters even know who Indy is? That's a great question.
Could be that
question.
too. That's
That is a
parents'
very
fault.
fair question. And you can make the argument that because we don't really see Indy's movies on like TNT like we used to see like Star Wars. Like you see the Star Wars movies on TNT all the freaking time.
Yep.
All the time.
Yep.
Don't really see Indiana Jones. So they used to come on USA Network. Don't really see him there either. So
Indy was one of those like you watched it because you enjoyed it. You had a
Yeah.
a fun time with it. Go ahead, Dado.
Streaming. All that stuff unfortunately ruins all that because you have to seek the movies. The movies don't come to you. When we were growing up, flipping through, whether you have cable or don't have cable, everybody was channel flipping. Yeah. Everybody was channel flipping. Yeah. So if you're channel flipping and you don't have cable, you hit up this whatever stations that were like your syndication one, and they used to play movies. The 1 o'clock movie, the 3 o'clock movie. They used to have the 7 o'clock movie, you know, and the 9 o'clock movie on the syndication stuff here back in the 80s. So you watched the stuff that came on. They used to have movies that was national. ABC, I believe, you would have like the Sunday national movie.
Absolutely.
They don't
even
do that anymore.
Even looking at like HBO had the feature presentation with that cool ass intro.
Oh, that was so cool. Back in the 80s,
everybody loved that intro.
Oh, that was so cool.
But the thing is, you knew where you was gonna be at 8 o'clock. You knew you was because HBO was about to show something new.
It was appointment viewing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So Dido's 100% right about that, man. The streaming killed those types of films, catching them like, you know, at various times or whatever. Because like you said, you're seeking out a particular thing. You're not flipping through to find stuff. Now, granted, Netflix and a lot of them do have a big library of stuff for you to find.
And there could be a bit of overload at play.
Yeah, exactly. But unless you are particularly sitting there just to do that, more often than not, you've got it in your mind. I'm going to go watch such and such on Netflix or Hulu or whatever you already know what you're going to watch or have it, you know, planned out or whatever.
Right. Yeah. No. Ironically, channel flipping is exactly how I found both Bloodsport and Big Trouble in Little China on Channel 20. Yeah. It's like literally I was just flipping the channels and I was like, saw Big Trouble in Little China. I was like, oh, what's this?
I mean, realistically, Big Trouble, all it had to be was a Saturday.
That's what it was.
It just had to be a Saturday on Channel 20, either
Saturday afternoon.
Bloodsport, Big Trouble in Little China. There was one other movie in the rotation. I always forget what it was, but Big Trouble and Bloodsport were constants. They were just.
I don't remember what that other one was.
Constantly on Channel 20.
Yes, you're right. No, 100%.
Now, and it kind of makes sense if you're really thinking about it, especially now. Like we have such an abundance of like blockbuster stuff like coming out. Like it might be time for us to kind of spread those back out because June was a stacked month. And on top of that, movies are kind of competing with shows and video games now too.
I know, absolutely. But
in June, again, like June was a really stacked month for releases. It's been nuts. So it's like, you know, granted, it could be other factors with certain movies or whatever the case may be, but it's like, I don't know. Like, part of me is like really getting back to that point where it's like, I still want my content, but like, I need some room to miss some stuff here and there, you know?
I think one of the issues is, and then I guess we'll probably end with this, I would think, is you have, and we had talked about this a little bit, you have a lot of content providers and also streaming services that are making their own content, but it's not truly forever content. Because like, okay, think about like a movie that just came out, I want to say about within the last 6 months or so, Red Notice. Red Notice had Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and The Rock in it. Nobody even talks about that movie anymore.
I didn't even watch it.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Either. So it's like
it was mid as fuck.
Oh, no, it absolutely was. It absolutely was. But the thing is, the fact that movie doesn't exist anywhere but the streaming service that created it. There's no Blu-rays of that. There's no DVDs of that. Nobody else can run it, basically. It's like, for a lot of people, that movie's doesn't exist to them.
For a service that got its very beginning from physical media, for Netflix to completely abandon it and say, hey, we should be pressing our own Blu-rays and releasing our stuff, it's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy.
I mean, like, for example, Orange is the New Black is on Blu-ray and DVD. That's a Netflix original. There was another one that Netflix did.
House of Cards?
It might probably House of Cards. And then who did Stranger Things? That's
Netflix too.
Stranger Things was on Blu-ray and DVD.
Okay.
Stranger Things was one of the first 4K Blu-ray shows I've ever even seen. I didn't even know that like shows were being put on 4K. Stranger Things was put on 4K. The first 2 seasons of that were put on 4K Blu-ray, like back in the day. And Target used to have them on the cheap for like forever. Right. They even came in like a big VHS style, box for the box sets. So I'm like, y'all, it's like, again, I get it. yes, it lives on your streaming service until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't.
And
exactly.
It's like, dude, Red Notice
Right.
is as a film, because again, if enough people ain't watching it, they're going to dump it.
Right.
And
Look
I'm
at-
sure it probably is getting to that point where it's just like Red Notice is probably on its way off of being delisted. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, so does that movie even still really actually exist?
Exist
if I can't
anymore. Correct.
watch it nowhere else.
Exactly, right? Because
So-
like, look at what's going on with Max right now. A lot of those HBO original shows, Westworld, Insecure, True Blood, you know, they're being taken off the service because they're getting ready to get licensed. Actually, all of those shows are about to be on Netflix, which is wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like,
It is
yes,
wild.
some of those shows are like over a decade old. I get it. But still, it's going to be catching new audiences over on another streaming service. Yep, the DVDs and Blu-rays have been out for a while, but whatever.
What'd you say?
I
Fallen?
digress.
Taking like hit after hit.
Hey, I mean, some of
They
this is
keep
of
and
their
it's
own
like,
doing.
dude, like it is, but it's like, damn, it's like, what else is going to happen to y'all? Like, it's like y'all already got passed around twice, and it's like
Damn,
now,
passed around.
like, you
Hold
got-
up, fam.
It's like, dude,
Passed around.
like,
Yeah,
No, he's right though.
bro,
Yeah.
He's right.
like passed around twice. Y'all didn't renew streaming rights for some of y'all stuff that people like signed up for. And it's like now you guys are auctioning off like your licensing rights to others. Like, what the?
yeah.
what is the point?
I don't get that, man. I don't get money. That's
No,
the
it always
point.
is that. That's always the point.
It's always the point.
King
Money.
Keem highlighting Insecure on Netflix or Hulu right now.
Yeah, exactly, man. All right, guys.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna turn it over to you, the people. Let's talk about what you guys want to talk about. Thank you for your effing evil.
Appreciate the
The power
100 bits.
is yours. Hannah Mega's asking out of the chat, who should play the live action Johnny Bravo? I don't think anybody even cares.
Oh no! For a while, everybody wanted The Rock to do it because
Yep.
Rock's character.
He would have been great.
I think my man.
At one point,
I think my man and Fallen hasn't seen him because he might have seen his show, but Fallen hasn't seen him because he never watched Fast 10. I think my man that played Ames could be Johnny Bravo.
Oh yeah,
That dude is huge.
Yes,
I didn't realize he
is.
was that damn big. I'm like,
Yeah,
good God.
I mean, can you imagine? My man used to play Hawk on Titans.
Mhm.
At one point,
oh,
he was the Aquaman
Smallville
in
Aquaman?
Smallville. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Smallville Aquaman. That was his first.
That's the same guy?
AC. Yes, that
Yeah.
was him. That was him. Same dude.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
you're
was
right.
Ra-
You're right.
Same
You're
dude.
right. Okay, you're right. You're right.
Who was his
Okay.
mirror? I forget.
I don't
he
remember.
was he was Raphael in the Bay Turtles too.
Fake. It makes sense. That they made him huge, so I mean that makes
So
sense.
hold on, let's see.
And then yeah, then he's also, I guess he plays Reacher. So
Yes,
it's
I've been
like,
meaning to watch that show. That
yeah,
show
I
looks
think
good.
Okay.
I think he'd be an interest in Johnny Bravo. Throw some sunglasses on him, have him act like Elvis. I think that'd be hilarious.
So it was Elena Satine was Mira in Smallville. No, she
Again,
was hot. I like her.
Again,
she was hot.
Smallville was fun.
Yeah.
Smallville had a lot of things that they did right. Had a lot of stuff that was questionable, but I get it. It was
That-
villain of the week type of show.
That reminds me, him on Reacher.
Mhm.
They say that is money in the bank. You got to watch that. I haven't seen it yet, so it's
Yeah,
on
I've
Amazon
heard a
Prime.
lot
If you
of
haven't
good
if you
things
haven't
about
checked it out yet, I'm
Well,
looking
he's
very much
closer
for
to
it.
the character than what
Than
freaking
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise is.
Yeah,
Like he's like in the books they describe him as like the dude that we see, with him now. But
Yeah.
like, dude, Tom Cruise is like 5'6",
Right.
6, maybe.
Yeah,
Yep.
Like, dude,
not
that-
not a tall statured man.
no, not at all. But he is somebody we will be talking about soon. Though.
yes, indeed.
Oh, sure, for sure, for
Yes.
sure.
Indeed.
We'll
That's
to that later.
Yep.
All right.
So out of the chat, also Takeem is talking about season 3 of Shield Hero is coming soon. That was also teased
Okay.
at Anime Expo this past weekend. Going along with that, they say, well, going along with that, if you were disappointed by season 2 of Shield Hero, those of them that got to see some of the footage, because I think they screened the first episode or so at at Anime Expo, they said it'll basically restore your faith in the series.
Oh,
Season
really?
3, yeah, it'll restore your faith. Like I've been reading the manga, and after that arc that they were just on with the Great Spirit Turtle arc,
Mhm.
and even going to the other world with the other heroes, this next arc actually is really good. It is really good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Here's the thing, though. I don't like when they like, oh, we got to restore your faith. They're like, first off, why did y'all make a questionable? If y'all had a good first season, and then like all of a sudden you
had to do with the conflict.
It was the manga. It was dictated all by the manga. That's all. It was in the manga. The arc with the spirit tortoise and stuff like that wasn't nearly as bad as the anime turned out to be, and I think that was because that spirit tortoise arc, they kind of really truncated it into like 3 or 4 episodes. So a lot of things were moving really fast, and it was just like it's not as good. So
it was definitely shorter.
Yeah.
Compared to the first season, like how they built it up, because like I think what happened was when it was all said and done, it kind of just felt like filler. It didn't really feel needed, you know? And it's like, and granted, it was supposed to kind of like, circle back around to another aspect of it. Like I get it, but it was a situation where it's like, I don't know if the voice actor's death had anything to do with it. I don't think so, but I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But, it was kind of like one of those things where it was just like, I don't know. It could have been not. I don't know. But I mean, look, I haven't given up on the show because the concept of it has been really good.
Yeah,
I like the way they built things up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was just like a total travesty like some shows would do. So
right.
It's like,
all right. Samtaro Games brought up Black Butler and Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2.
Yes, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 the first 90 seconds were shown at Anime Expo this past weekend. Again, a lot of stuff came out of Anime Expo. Yeah. I mean, because it's a hot series. They're not going to give you too much. No, they gave you like, I guess it was maybe like a sizzle reel they may have shown. Yeah. But essentially, this season is going to be split into 2 arcs. So it's going to be basically the first arc of the show is going to be what's his name? The guy with the blindfold. I forget his name.
He purposely wears that blindfold because he's way too powerful.
Yeah. Oh, Goro. This is basically going to be a Goro. Gojo. It's going to be basically a Gojo backstory. Like it's going to be a backstory of him. And then there's supposed to be a whole Shibuya incident arc that's going to be like the back half of the season.
Interesting.
So, so that's going to be that. Let's see. Wolverine Solid X says the AEW wrestling game looks cool. I heard it may look good, but I heard it doesn't play good. I thought I heard it was like kind of disappointing.
It's kind of the other way around.
Really?
So like it's like
it plays good, but
based on what I've seen. Based on what I've seen, it plays good. It functions like it's supposed to. Out of the gate, it's got like its little bugs here and there, but nothing game breaking. It looks slightly dated, but it's from a smaller company, so that's almost to be expected. But from what I hear, it's just like the game plays exactly how it's supposed to be. Like it's basically a lot of people are saying that like it's a true successor to No Mercy. A lot of people say. Like the only thing is like obviously they probably need us. The roster isn't bad. Like the roster is still pretty good. So, but I think like there's still more they can add to the game.
Right.
So I think like the thing is like they wish more was there, but there's still a lot more they can add to the game. So, but like as far as gameplay wise, a lot of people are into it.
Nice. I don't know. I mean, it again, like when I saw a couple of, like you said, videos of it, and it did look like an older wrestling game. But if the mechanics are good and everything, and it's fun, and if you're in AEW, I guess, because I'm not.
I don't understand why. I mean, AEW here is good, probably better than WCW back in the day.
It's definitely in the same. It's in the same vein as old school WCW before like things happen the way they happen. like everything isn't like perfect, but it's entertaining. Like they do entertaining stuff whether you agree or don't agree. Like it's there needs to be another big promotion.
I mean,
out there.
again,
like,
Jade Cargill is good to look at. I will definitely say that. And then beyond that, I don't know anything else about AEW. I'm gonna be real, because like it again.
Well, I understand. I get it. I get it. Like
when they first started, they had a lot of the same. They started off with a lot of the same problems that brought WCW down, by basically having the wrestlers running the show. That's where I was just like, yeah, I don't know about that. So.
Yeah, I don't think it was as bad. I don't think they went as bad as WCW though, because obviously WCW just like
They ain't got a Hogan.
Be
a man, Hogan.
Ooh, those last couple years, boy. Ooh wee. But I think overall, like, I mean, I had the pleasure of going to AEW event before or whatever, and it was great. It was a really good show. But yeah, I think like what it is that people, well, partly it has to do with people being so used to WWE for so long, is that they look at anything else and just like, try to turn their nose up at it. You know, it's just like, so. But you know, I mean, I'd say it's worth checking out and following for a while to see what's what.
All right. Let's see.
Dark Side of the Ring episode on Junkyard Dog was hilarious. I still need to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
Junkyard Dog himself was hilarious.
Yeah, Junkyard Dog was hilarious, but I need to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
Was it as hilarious as the New Jack episode? New Jack was just trying to kill him.
I doubt that.
Everything dealing with New Jack is like unintentionally hilarious.
I just thought that was crazy.
Oh,
This story
God.
is crazy.
Does Ki power count as magic?
I
Sounds like
don't
this is Superman
I would
versus
say
Goku
no.
again.
Versus Gojo.
I don't.
Oh, Gojo.
I'm not really sure, but like you know, at first I didn't really think so, but I think as time gone on, like I honestly really feel like it has its benefits, but I think like it has its downsides when going up against a magic user, because like that's like a whole different like set of elements there. So it's like, I don't know if it's because like I've been playing a lot of Midnight Suns or whatever, because
You
like
still playing that game, man.
Purpose?
You still playing that game? Okay.
I love that game.
Okay.
Like that game is
No,
like the lore in that game is amazing, but yeah, it's like they really get into like the whole supernatural thing, and like you kind of like thinking of that versus like energy projection and how that clashes and how it works on what. I don't
think it's
I don't
magic.
know. Like it's not foolproof. I wouldn't say it is. I honestly really wouldn't say it is at this point.
Yeah, Takeem has got exactly what I was thinking. She is internal energy. It's not magic.
Exactly.
What's up, Picture Man? How you doing? Say what's up.
What's up, Picture Man? How you doing, man?
I'm the Picture Man. Man.
But no, I mean, because Goku and Vegeta and all of them can get tired. If it was magic, they would never ever get tired. Of using their Ki blast and all that other crazy stuff. Now that, granted, their freaking reserves seem to be endless now, but you know, whatever.
Still playing.
To be honest.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say, like, to be honest, when it comes to like that with DBZ, that's kind of part of the reason why, like, I don't look back on the Boo saga as fondly anymore.
That was awesome.
Like, because honestly, by all definitions, like, nobody should have won that. Like, no one should have got out of that unscathed.
Well, of course
especially
not.
when they got turned into a freaking piece of chocolate.
Exactly. Piece of candy.
Assassin's Creed did not fall off. They got more Assassin's Creed games coming out. So.
I mean, didn't we just talk about Assassin's Creed like last week?
I think we did, but maybe
have,
he was.
Valhalla actually had some positive speak about it, to be honest.
Didn't
so they
Valhalla
haven't
come out like
completely
2 years ago though?
Now it's
like it was
they've taken some time from Assassin's Creed, I think, a little bit. At least that's what they said.
Well,
but
I thought
you
they
know,
announced another one like Mirage or some weird.
They just did. They literally just did in the past year. So obviously it didn't last very long.
So wait, what happened to the Assassin's Creed Japan that they were getting ready to do?
Man, they ain't gonna do that. How they gonna tie?
I don't think that's happening. They might be down the line, but dude, like they still got to figure out what they're gonna do with this Prince of Persia remake, because everything has been quiet about that.
I look forward to that though. And we got here is talking about Final Fantasy 16 is your new favorite, Takeem. I've been hearing rumblings that it's way more cinematic than gameplay. Is that true? I heard.
I think people. The main thing I've been hearing.
If Sam
is
still here, she could talk about it, because
it.
I know she's been playing it on her stream. Maybe she could talk about it.
I think people have been like acting funny about it because it's more action based. Like, because the most recent Final Fantasy games have been more action based than turn based.
Yeah, but
So
I'd rather not go back to turn
okay,
based.
so
but I know this game like has like a completely different tone than the others though. So it's just like I know it's just like one of those things where people feel like, okay, maybe this doesn't feel like mainline Final Fantasy or something. I don't know.
and that's kind of what
I'm not
I get
one of those
from it.
people. I'm not saying that, but I mean, it's just like, look, it's no Stranger in Paradise. So it's like Stranger in Paradise was just like, what is this? Like,
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. And yes, I know there was an entire generation or two of people that grew up with turn-based Final Fantasy. To me, whether the game is more cinematic or not, even in Final Fantasy with turn-based, you still watching the game do stuff. You're not. Yes, you're making choices.
Yeah,
but you're still watching the game play out and do whatever it's going to do based on a D20 roll. So it's like, I'd rather Final Fantasy Remake style become the new style.
Right.
I'm
Me
in
too.
there doing stuff. Yes, I can heal and yes, I can cast spells and all that, but I'm still running around doing stuff while catching these awesome cinematics when they happen. So I'd rather have that.
So, and maybe it's a balance thing because I know for me, Final Fantasy 15 was cool. I liked it. It still had some of those grindy RPG elements in it that I kind of could have done without. The whole cooking different meals to get, health boosts and shit like that.
I like 15.
I mean, I like it was like a cooking mini game, and it was like, it was kind of a nice diversion, but
it was
right.
It's like a thing. It's like, hey, it helps you through the day. It helps you through missions from day to day.
Sure, I get that part of it, right? But then Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out, and you're just like, wow, this is a great experience. Like, it was like everything Final Fantasy 15 did, but way better, right? And then now you get to 16, and it feels like it's totally. This is just my perception. It feels totally different. It feels less like Final Fantasy and some overly flashy mashing buttons, less, RPG type elements, deal to it, right? It's not even, you can't even call it Devil May Cry because at least with Devil May Cry, you kind of felt like you were putting the combos together yourself. No, it's like literally you're just mashing the attack button and just doing stuff. That's what it feels like to me.
Team highlighted a message and said that I guess Assassin's Creed Japan was moved to mobile.
Oh, I mean that's not the downgrade I used to be able to say it was before. That's actually not that bad.
Assassin's Creed
with Ubisoft,
we'll have to see. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Picture Man does not care what Final Fantasy game comes out. Gonna play it, been a fan and beat it. Been a fan since '92.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Play what you like. That's what I tell people. Play what you like. I want to go back and beat 10 one day because I got the Sin fight.
You never beat 10?
Nope, I got the Sin, and I think I was fighting the left side of Sin, and I was like, man, fuck
that
this
dude.
shit.
That fight was long as hell, bro.
Dude, I was like, you gotta do the left side, and then you gotta do the right side. And I'm like,
I played, and I think I was fighting Sin's Finn, like the very first time you fight Sin or whatever.
You just like,
and like Waka was throwing his damn volleyball at him. I'm like, this is, I'm done. I'm not playing this. This is stupid.
The funny thing is, as silly as that seems like at the beginning or whatever, Waka actually becomes like one of the MVP characters before that game is through.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys, we're getting ready to end the show. We had a great time entertaining you. Thank you for joining us today. So next week's episode, we alluded to it earlier, but here it is. Next week is the release of Mission Impossible Fallout Chapter 1.
Comes out on show day. Do not go see it until you watch our show.
Yes. Do not go see it until we watch the show. That's right.
Yeah, then you go to the midnight show or something.
But we thought we would do a revisit of the 4 decades that we've had of Tom Cruise. And this man has gone through evolution like probably no other movie star we've ever seen. So we're going to talk about that next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So make sure you come back and join us for that great episode. Want to thank once again to all of our patrons for their support. We're actually going to push you on over to Sam Taro, start a raid because she just started her stream.
Awesome.
So get ready for some Pokemon goodness.
I guess over there on her. Fantasy.
No, she plays that on Mondays.
Oh,
so
okay,
she
gotcha.
plays that on Mondays. Like, you know, Sam has been religiously growing her community. She's a great streamer, and she's obviously one of the culture junkies. So go over there and show her some support. So my friends, the great Dr. Kuji, GQ, and Fallen Marvel,
Peace.
and for our producer back there, Simon Says, I'm Kishiro. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great one.
Have a good one, y'all.
Make that one rib.
Rib.
to go.
One rib. There's one rib. There's one
I'm
rib.
still looking forward to playing Final Fantasy.
I play it eventually.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'll get to it.
I gotta beat 7. Get 7 first.
Here's the
Yeah,
crazy-
I haven't even
I haven't
touched
beaten that
7
either.
remake
You're
yet,
right.
but
Here's
I
the
heard like really
7 remake. You can't even find it physically anymore.
really.
I mean, I'm sure you can find it on the internet, but I'm saying every GameStop I've ever been to,
Mhm.
every Walmart, every store, that physical copy is gone. Same
That-
thing with that newest one they did. What was it? 7 Crisis,
Crisis,
or whatever.
the
Crisis
Crisis
Core.
Core
Like,
reunion.
it's hard. It's
Remake.
harder and harder to find that one physically. I'm like,
That
dude,
wow.
you gotta get
seems
it
like
as
an
they drop.
opportunity because I got the collector's edition with the art